Sometimes things aren't about me and I don't like it.
The amount of comments that I get from some women whenever I'm talking about the things that men do or the things that men like is astounding. They always say stuff like, what about women? Women do that too. Or women have this problem too. It's always bringing up women. In general, what do men have? Like, really? Nothing is about men anymore. Men can't even have their voices heard. Men are starting to fall behind in so many areas, and it's just ignored. Men don't have holidays that celebrate them or their contributions. Life in general becomes more difficult for men every single day, and yet it's all ignored.
Man, I wish I had a nicer jacket.
Maybe you look great.
Hey, babe, you should look at the necklace I just sent you.
Why? You know I don't wear a lot of jewelry.
I'm almost out of my favorite perfume.
Should probably get a new one.
Could really use a new pair of boots.
Don't you have like 2 more pairs?
Hey, this man is just being smart. And not only that, but women often look for validation in general throughout the day, though he might not put 2 and 2 together that you're hinting for a specific gift. Not only that, but when a man buys you a gift, he's really hoping that you'll use it. If you have a lot of boots, or you don't wear jewelry, I mean, that's not gonna be his first choice, even if you're making comments like that. I feel like you're better off just flat out saying it. When he says, I don't know what to get you, you'd be like, well, I could use a jacket, I could use boots, or bring up that necklace once again. This is why women shouldn't be hinting. Men are never gonna catch it. Just be blunt so he can make you happy.
Dudes be pushing 40 and still not treating women right. Grow the fuck up, you're...
What do you mean by treating women right? Not having his hobbies anymore? Catering to someone 24/7? Spending all his money, his time on her? And for what? Someone who doesn't reciprocate? Someone who takes advantage of him and doesn't appreciate him? Nah, he'd rather be playing his video games. You're just mad that men have caught on. They're not playing those games anymore.
Me strategically going on the...
Right? That's a great idea. But also, you could just ask him what his name is. He'd probably be really flattered by that. And never get questions like that. Heck, men would just love being approached by a woman in general.
You feel like you need to go above and beyond and you need to do this, this, and this just to earn love or earn respect from your partner. Like it's something that you have to do things to just be loved. He's not the one.
Oh, this is so bad. It's not him. It's not him. If you feel like you have to earn love, like I get it, I used to be like this. It's you. It's a you problem. Maybe your self-esteem is low. Maybe you have a lot of trauma that you need to work through. See a professional. I say this nicely and lovingly. It's not him. Because you will treat every relationship just like this one. And then what? Nobody is right for you? No, you need to maybe take a break from relationships and work through some of your issues. Maybe you had a parent with extremely high expectations of you, and you felt like they withdrew love every time you failed to meet their expectations. Maybe you were surrounded by people whose love for you was conditional. You felt like you had to constantly do things to earn it. Now, people shouldn't love you unconditionally. I mean, that's the reality. But love should never stem from what you're doing for the other person. They decide to love you based on who you are. Like, you should be able to feel secure in your relationships. And this comes from working on yourself. Just because you failed to do something for somebody else shouldn't threaten their love for you. Shouldn't make you feel that way.
Boyfriend and girlfriend, then it needs to be going towards marriage. Otherwise, what are we doing?
This type of logic is the reason why a lot of people end up becoming unhappy in relationships. Not everybody wants the same thing. And not everyone's ultimate goal is marriage. Some people don't want to ever get married, but they want to have a relationship long term. It goes for the rest of their lives. Obviously, if you're in a long-term relationship with somebody, ideally you've had that conversation and you're on the same page. But if you don't feel like you're on the same page with your partner, you need to have that conversation and not just sit back and expect them to read your mind on that. It definitely depends. There are some people out there still who will not cheat no matter what the circumstances are. I firmly believe that there are people that can stay together forever without cheating. And I definitely think it takes a special kind of person because you will get opportunities. And both people need to have the willpower to say no in those situations. Also, being with someone that's constantly working on themselves and prioritize their own personal mental health can be a huge factor because they'll be less likely to look outside of the relationship for external validation, which can lead to cheating. Instead, they'll validate themselves or get some of it from their partner. Also, knowing exactly what your needs are, being able to communicate them, and figuring out how to get some of those needs met outside of the relationship without cheating if your partner is incapable of fulfilling them. I firmly believe that understanding and knowing yourself really well and your partner doing the same can reduce cheating.
Go yourself. But go.
If you feel this way, how selfish can you get? Unless there's a serious reason why you have to stay home, which can't think of a whole lot. What the He's supposed to work 80 plus hours a week while you sit at home watching TV? You gonna at least cook and clean for him? Or is that too much to ask? Seriously, there is no reason why both people shouldn't be working. Both are capable people. Unless you guys have kids and one of you has to be a stay-at-home parent, which I think should be discussed, it shouldn't be automatically the woman. I will never understand this logic. You're supposed to care about the person. Therefore, you should care about their well-being. You should want them to have a nice life, not where they're just working themselves non-stop while you reap the benefits. You should want things to be mutually beneficial. Is that so hard to understand? Have these people ever loved somebody before? Like, just don't get it.
You look tired. I don't sleep well anymore.
Yeah, another reason women need to stop valuing appearance above everything else. Your beauty is gonna fade. Eventually you'll show signs of aging. Society considers that less beautiful for whatever reason. But when you have more to offer than just what you look like, compliments like that, they still mean a lot. They don't mean as much because you know you bring more than just your looks. And just because a man finds another woman attractive doesn't mean he doesn't want to be with you anymore. You can appreciate the beauty and the attractiveness of other people while you're in a relationship. You don't stop finding other people attractive just because you're in a happy relationship. And that's perfectly fine. It's just important to always be respectful about it and not gawk or do things to violate the terms of your relationship overall. And this whole prettiest girl in the world thing, that's one of those dumb compliments that's never actually true, like realistically. If you were genuinely the prettiest girl in the world, I mean, your life would probably look much different. And that's not me insulting you, that's being realistic here. Most people have to be average. And yes, there's a lot of women who are above average. You should always take compliments like that with a grain of salt. Oh, you're the smartest person in the world. And no, you're not. Realistically, you're not. It's okay. I hope you don't keep that person in your life, because that's incredibly rude and untrue. People will find love at all ages, and everyone brings something to the table and can provide value to a relationship. Just because you've gotten older doesn't mean your value is less than. Some things you may not be as good at as you once were, but there's other things you're probably much better at. And hopefully you'll find a woman that loves you for it, and will see those qualities in you that maybe you don't see right now.
So honey, my girlfriends keep wanting me to ask you, why do you think men end up cheating on their wives?
Well, that's a pretty loaded question. And I'm going to give you an answer that people probably won't hear anywhere else. But after 40 years of working with men, being a man myself, when I grew up in high school, there was this term used called BMOC. It meant big man on campus. And every guy, at some point in their life, whether it was grade school or high school, they just wanted to be big man on campus. They wanted to wear the varsity letter. They wanted to, take the prom queen out. They wanted to score the touchdown. They wanted to be a big man on campus. Every guy on this planet knows what that term means in some sense. And underscoring that means that men like to feel important. Back when men were the cavemen, they were bringing home the boar and bringing home the food and killing the wildlife, and they were all like, they were big men on campus even back then. And a lot of men that I talk to sometimes feel that they know when they wander off the reservation, but the other woman is making them feel more important. Now that's not a justification for them doing it. And it's not that their wives don't pay attention to them. But men have a an Achilles heel. This is a weak point. Because if you need something exterior to you, then it's kind of like a drug, you know. And if you have to have it, you don't feel like you're getting it, just like a drug, you'll go looking for it. So if Megan at work starts flirting with you, he starts to feel like BMOC. He starts to feel like big man on campus. And then he makes a moral mistake. Moral just means right or wrong. He makes a wrong chess move. He makes a wrong decision. He knows it the moment he makes it. The moment he crosses that line, every guy knows. But his weakness is that he needs to feel important.